Welcome to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I'm Jen Godde, your fearless host, entrepreneur, investor, and business strategist. Why are we here? Because iron sharpens iron. And when we bring industry leaders, entrepreneurs, and investors to share what's working in business and even some of what's not, we're all able to learn and grow. As a result, we are able to grow our businesses to thrive, and the ripple effect impacts not only our teams and their families, but also our communities and our world. We are diving deeper into AI literacy today. It's a topic that you have asked a lot of questions about. We've been really talking about it over the past several weeks. And I have brought an amazing friend and fellow entrepreneur here who is an educator and founder of Women Who AI, Kelley Tenny. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited. You talk about so many amazing topics. I couldn't be more thrilled to be here today.
Well, I really wanted to lean on you because you've gone from classroom to the boardroom, and AI literacy is your jam. So I kind of thought AI is here, but are we really preparing the next generation of youth, the next generation of entrepreneurs, not just to survive it, but to truly thrive? And you're the perfect person for that. So talk to me a little bit about this. You've been doing curriculum, teaching future teachers, training the trainer, educating entrepreneurs. What does really AI literacy look like today? And why does it matter now more than ever?
Ooh, that's such a good question because I think in the whole just sense of literacy on its own, I think has always had some confusion around what that really means. If you think about like the original just concept of like being literate, right? It was just about this like, can you read, right? Do you have the skill, right? And as education has evolved and as that term literate and literacy has started to be applied into a lot of different other content areas, a lot of different other subjects. Now we're here with AI. It's really understanding the depth of what true literacy actually means, which is that, yes, do you understand it? Do you know what AI is? Do you have the skill to use AI? But taking it to the next level and really embracing that concept of true literacy, it really also includes like, do you know when it's being used? Do you have critical thinking skills around how to use it both ethically and in an innovative manner? Do you understand the biases, right? And the ethical issues that are surrounding AI. So I think when it comes to AI literacy, a lot of people might think it's just about, do they know what it is? Do they know how to use it? But really, I think there's a lot of different levels that are needing to become uncovered and that we're going to be uncovering in various conversations to really embrace that true definition of what AI literacy is.
I couldn't agree with you more. And when we think about it, I've been bringing people involved from all different aspects onto the show because it's not just about talking about it. It's about really being ingrained in what is this? What are the ethics? What are the biases? What are the conversations? So let me ask you, how can we as entrepreneurs, as leaders, as investors, as moms, as community pillars, how can we build AI literacy into every aspect of our homes, our boardrooms, our businesses, especially for, women, because a lot of times women wear multiple roles and will be part of that conversation for the children as well as we run businesses. So how can that be built in from your perspective?
I think one of the most important things is to not only for ourselves, but to teach the people that we work with, to teach our teams, to teach our children, as you said, because we certainly know if our future generations aren't using it yet, which many of them are, they certainly are going to be. I do believe it's going to be this mainstreamed skill and tool, if you will, that we're going to be seeing in education. The biggest thing is to remember that it's okay to question, right? I really think when we stop questioning and when we stop wondering and asking questions, that's when we start to get into that danger zone. So, it's really, first of all, always recognizing that it's okay to ask questions, to not only question the inputs or the outputs that you're getting from AI, but also just question everything that you're seeing when it comes to AI usage. And I feel like one of the best things that we can do, especially when we're talking about it at home with our families and future generations. And Jen, you and I have talked about this off screen a lot, is creating that safe space,
Mm.
right? Making sure that there's always a safe space for that questioning and that wondering, and maybe even that thought disrupting to happen. Because I think that's really where we start to have those conversations that are necessary in being able to come up with some stronger guidelines as we move forward with AI around that ethical usage, right? Around the biases and things like that. And I think if we can teach people to stop just taking the information that they're getting and run with it, and actually, again, AI literacy, that critical thinking, like really think about it, question it, be curious, inquire. That's going to be those skills that we need to continue to have those conversations and build out that literacy, that AI literacy component.
And I just like what I'm hearing is press pause. Don't just take what you see at face value. Press pause and ask, why is this happening? What happens if we continue down this path? And I really love that curiosity. And so I'm gonna shift the conversation just a little bit because you're shifting the narrative. Women Who AI is a movement that's changing the face of AI leadership. So let me ask you, in your experience with this, what unique strengths do women bring to the AI revolution, and how do we better support them? Whether they're entrepreneurs who are leveraging the technology or they're female founders who are developing other tools, like what does that look like from a what the strengths that they're bringing to the conversation, and also how can we support them?
Well, one of the things that I've really learned about women is, and it's no surprise that women and men think differently, right? I mean, the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus wouldn't have been a bestseller for so long if it didn't resonate and actually just help people recognize, like, yes, we just think differently, and that's what it is, right? And so bringing women into the conversation, just to begin, right? When we talk about that AI literacy, we don't want to be having one-sided conversations. And I think that's what you technically tend to have when you're in a gender dominant industry, right? And again, it's that thinking, it's that thought process. It's just the conversations that typically will come up in, male dominant conversations during female conversations. And so that's one piece, right? I think that's one really big shift towards this movement, is recognizing that when we bring in more females into the AI industry, we're starting to bring in different perspectives, different thought processes, different topics. And one of the things that I've certainly seen in the Women Who AI summits and interviewing all of the amazing female AI thought leaders and founders is women, I think in a much more practical manner, in terms of that, like, is this usable? Is this practical? Is this going to solve my problems? And one of the things that I love, not that men aren't looking to solve problems, but I think for women who have a lot of different roles that they tend to play in life, they are problem solvers. They really are looking for that, like, what types of solutions make sense, versus that more, what ifs, what if realm. And I think that a lot of the tools that I'm seeing that women are creating do have those more practical components. I see women founders and hear women founders say all the time, I created this tool because I needed it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I had the problem and now I want to share it with others. So I think that's one big piece that we're bringing in by bringing in more females. And the other thing is with Women Who AI, part of that movement is creating that safe space. I hear so many times. In fact, I just had a call earlier this morning with someone who said, I'm so curious and I know I need to learn about AI. And honestly, I've just been afraid to be the one that raises their hand and says, like, what am I missing? What don't I know? And we don't know, we don't know what we don't know. And that was part of the other um, thought behind Women Who AI, is like, what if we could create this non-judgment open forum for women to be able to feel safe everywhere, from being AI curious, I really don't understand how tools like ChatGPT works, to AI innovative, and to be able to say, like, hey, I have this problem in my business. Anybody else? If I developed a tool, would this be useful to everybody? And so, really the opportunities are limitless, but I think those are really two big keys that Women Who AI will bring to the table.
Yeah, and I just really highlight something that you've said a couple of times in a couple of different ways for everybody who's listening. It doesn't matter whether you're male, female, or anything, any other way you identify, but the reality is are we thinking from a practicality standpoint? And the thing that you and I have talked about offline as well is what are the second order impacts? What are the potential negative outcomes if we follow this trend? And how do we mitigate those? And I think that as multi-role people, we tend to be involved in a lot of different things, and we tend to see some of those second order impacts a little bit more rapidly than those who are more in it for the science. And just because we can doesn't mean we should. So we do have to take a brief break, but we're going to dive even deeper into this building better with AI, ethics, creativity, human-centered technology after this short break. Stick around.